What is Vaikuntha?
For me,
Yes.
Vaikuntha is whenever you experience a joy and happiness, like I said, that joy and that happiness, which is with God at all time. That is Vaikuntha. So it's not that you have to reach to a place once you die, then you go to the loka of Mahavishnu, that we call Vaikuntha. For me personally, it's here. You have to make here Vaikuntha firstly. You have to make here your paradise. If you have not made here your paradise, what paradise are you aiming for? This is the thing. People have a aim. Yes, once I finish life here, I die, then I will go to some places. It's a hope, yes, but it's not like this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make Vaikuntha here.
Mm.
Your life have to become that paradise itself. That open up all the way.
So Vaikuntha is, could it be perceived as like pure light, or a reference? You're saying like kind of paradise, and you get glimpses of it. It's both the place we're going to and the place we can have experience of here.
Yes, it is here itself.
Yeah.
It's not a place that, there is for sure a place also after you depart from here where the great souls reach, when you have finished here your dharma, your duty here. Of course, there's a place that, no, you don't come back here. But to reach to that place, you have to make it here personally.
So you spoke to essentially how our origins is from this cosmic consciousness, individuating, experiencing potentially millions of different species to where we realize the sacredness of this human birth. Where do you feel that we are going? The moment of self-realization, what is the path of what's after this human life? Like, where are we going to as a spirit soul?
This is a question which everybody asks. Yeah. But actually, whoever have reached to that part, they have not come back to tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
But we know it through experience, which great sages and saints have experienced. Because once we have entered into that blissful state of love, you have always compassion for others. The great sages and saints, they choose to be here, because very often we hear, oh yes, let us be free. But freedom is also being here. You can be here and be liberated. You don't need to die and be in the other side to be liberated. So the sages and the saints, they choose to come and help humanity. So this is one thing which is very important.
And then, so the more that you devote yourself to your sadhana and your spiritual practice, and you put in that effort, this is very important. What is the feeling of grace and how that comes?
On that point, you see, very often I have seen people, whenever they're doing their sadhana, they do it with so intense. Mm-hmm. They're not relaxed.
Yeah.
You see, they feel that, yes, I have to do that much, I have to do this, They push themselves to the brim of it, then they collapse.
It's like militant.
Yes, they become very militant, and then they don't achieve anything.
Yeah.
Because
that used to be me, very much so.
You have to enjoy also, what you're doing.
Yeah.
When we are talking about spirituality, it's not boring at all.
Yeah.
I say, because very often people think that spirituality is boring. No, it is not. It is one of the most joyful and most celebrating life itself. So that is important.
Yeah.
That you celebrate each moment of your life.
Yeah. And so how do you experience grace in the people around you and in your own personal life? Yeah, how does grace arrive? What form does it take? What does it feel like in our life?
Grace comes in many forms. And in the smallest things of your life. I call it the golden moment. If you perceived that each day of your life, there is grace into it. But you have to notice it. See, it's not just that when you fall sick, then you get heal, that is a grace. No, it's not only that. Every day of your life, there's a golden moment. Every day when you help somebody on the street, when you do something good for somebody, this is the grace itself. It allowed you to serve,
Can I ask you a few questions about your own personal path and journey to this point?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
At the age of 14 and a half, actually, I experienced something that changed my life itself. At the age of 14, one night, it was 21st of April, I think 1992. You see, my parents believed, but just like everybody, they will just not very spiritual people. They will go to the temple twice a year for 1st of January and Shivaratri, the great night of Shiva. And that's it. But for me, like I said, I was always attracted towards spirituality. So I used to collect all the little picture of the gods, Krishna, Shiva, and I would put them. I was not allowed to put it on the wall. So they gave me a cupboard. It was inside the cupboard closed. So every night I would do my little prayer with the incense and then close it again for my mom not to get angry. So that night, I wake up because there was light coming out from the cupboard. I got so scared because I said, "Oh, it's burning." So I already see the reaction of my mom and my parents. Okay, so I rush and open the cupboard. When I opened, there was a picture of a saint, Sai Baba of Shirdi. But you have heard about it. All around him, there was a speck of light emanating from that picture. So when I opened it, it was a relief. At the same time, a calmness, inside of me. And it was peaceful. So when this happened, it dimmed again. I closed the cupboard and I went to sleep. So next morning, I thought it was just a dream, finished. Then nothing ever happened. I was in college at that time. So I went to college. And when I came back, my mom was sitting outside crying. I asked her, "What's wrong with you? Why are you sitting and crying outside? Whether something have happened, your mom died." Well, your mom already dead, so no problem. Maybe something happened to my dad or to her family. I said, no, go inside. So I went inside the house, and on the wall and all the other things, there was some manifestation of ash, vibhuti we call it, holy ash. So it was just there. So I said, okay, it was not much actually, just speck. And my mom was crying. Said, "Oh, maybe you should remove these things, So we clean everything. So this is a mistake that we did actually. The more we clean, it became more start coming out. All more things start manifesting, and so that is from that on my spiritual journey started. So like that, later on, I had more vision of that same person. And later, much later in 2008, he revealed to me that it was actually him all this time, So then I didn't know who he was, So that then 2008. No, before that I knew about, and I heard about Mahavtar Babaji. So it was similar,
Yeah.
So then 2008 he revealed that all these time it was only him.
So fascinating. Can you share what is the reality of who Babaji is and was in your experience, I think people maybe have been familiarized or heard of him first through Paramahamsa Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi, and they hear about this great being. And I would just love for you to share, what do you feel who he was and is?
Actually, look, for me personally, I think that Mahavtar Babaji is a partial manifestation of Lord Krishna. So when Lord Krishna disappeared, and he emanated that aspect of to remind humanity, to keep a balance into this world, So he manifests into Mahavtar Babaji. And why he's here? He's a teacher for all the other teachers. He come as a reminder. Like he reminded me when I was small of showing that light, saying, that's you. Even if that time didn't give me that deep realization of, yes, that is who I am. But it's a reminder of that.
So at 14, there was a distinct moment, whether you call it samadhi or through that experience.
Yes, actually, something happened. One of my aunties said to sit and meditate. So I said, okay, fine, let's sit and meditate. It was something, I say, okay, I never did it before, so let's try. So my auntie tried to explain to how to do it. So we sat down, everybody at, it was 8 o'clock in the evening. We sit down and meditate, So when we were in meditation, but the point is that at that moment when I sat down and meditate, something happened to me. So I left. And I was not back for 3 days.
So you sat down to meditate and you felt like you left your body for 3 days.
For 3 days I was in this state of samadhi.
And your family, your auntie, like
they was sitting and crying. Because you see, the heart was still beating very faintly, and the people was there. It was a big commotion,
So in their experience, your eyes were closed. Were you still seated, like sitting like this, or were you laying down?
I think I was, I started by sitting down. I think they took me and put me there.
Yeah.
So for 3 days I was not there.
And what was your experience as you were?
That I've never said to anybody, actually.
Really?
Actually, during that experience, I was in a different place. It was like a long traveling. And I don't know whether you because I never say that to
I mean, if you're open to sharing, I'm just so curious about that state and what your consciousness goes through and what it is experiencing,
It was not a mind process, you see. It's not that, of course, after I came back, I could remember everything. I still remember everything. Right now when I'm talking to you, can still feel everything inside of me right now, And it was, I was traveling, to different spheres and different realities, and meeting different beings also.
I think people are starting to understand more and more how our consciousness might potentially not be bound by time and space. And if you're able to get into deep brainwave states or deep moments of meditation like this, I personally have heard many experiences where people leave their body and have different experiences around. So it was your experience that you were like traveling to different worlds, realities, communicating with other beings. Mm-hmm. Do you want to share any more? Are you open to a little bit?
No.